What is up, everybody? It is Benjamin Walters of the Two Irish Brothers Show coming at you with a new video. So, Sean has some personal stuff that he is dealing with, so he is on hiatus. And I am flying solo for the foreseeable future. So, hope that doesn't bum too many people out. But before we get started, please make sure that you smash that like button down below if you liked this video. Hit subscribe if you are not already subscribed. And hit the bell icon so you are always alerted when a new video drops. All of that helps with the algorithm purposes, and we greatly appreciate it here at the Two Irish Brothers Show. So, it's a new week, and Notre Dame is taking on a very familiar foe in the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Notre Dame fans know all about Georgia Tech, but this year is a little different. Georgia Tech's 5-2. Something that I don't think a lot of us thought possible coming into this season. But Georgia Tech looks like a very solid team. Very solid. 2 losses on the year. One, which was a very close loss on the road at Syracuse. And then the only quote-unquote lopsided game was a loss to Louisville, also on the road. And although this game is considered a neutral field site, it's in Atlanta. And it will be anything but a neutral field site for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. So let's get that clear right there. But Georgia Tech's interesting because they are a very, very solid squad, and they have shown that they can hang with everybody. There has not been a bad loss that Georgia Tech has had yet this season, in my opinion. They showed that they can hang with a team like Florida State in beating Florida State. And yes, Florida State is currently licking their wounds, but the talent is still on the roster at Florida State. And yes, Georgia Tech probably started that spiral that is the Seminoles right now, but you can't take much away from that because, once again, the talent is on the roster. So I'm not even going to say that Notre Dame could potentially play down to an opponent here because I don't feel like that's fair to Georgia Tech. I really don't. I feel like Georgia Tech is maybe a step below Notre Dame team statistical-wise. The talent is very much there and exceedingly on the Notre Dame side of things, but it is definitely an interesting matchup this week. And none of these matchups in the upcoming weeks could or should be considered easy matchups. And these are going to set the tone for the rest of the season and for the postseason. Because teams that we thought were going to be a walk in the park, like Georgia Tech, like Navy, like Army, do not look like they are going to be. And none of us saw that coming. So let's get down to it. Georgia Tech by the numbers. Georgia Tech is averaging 32 points a game and giving up 21 points a game. A great recipe for a winning record. So Notre Dame's got its work cut out for them because this is a decent offense. I mean, 32 points a game is no slouch and nothing to scoff at. So we're going to have a work cut out for us. But this Notre Dame defense has been rock solid all season. We have had multiple games where less than 100 yards was allowed through the air, which is incredible in modern college football. So it's doable. It's manageable by Notre Dame. But Notre Dame has to stay focused because we were treated pretty well last week. in the victory over Stanford, a 49-7 victory. We don't normally see that coming out of a bye. We don't. Historically, Notre Dame does not play well coming off of a bye week. They either play down to their opponent or lose the game. And last week was a treat. But we got to keep the momentum going. We have to. And Georgia Tech is going to give us a run for our money, in my opinion. But Notre Dame has and knows what it takes. And the passing game for Notre Dame looked solid against Stanford. Something that I was very worried about in our preview, and I said it in the preview for Stanford, was can we get the passing game going? Because that's how you beat Stanford. And if we can't get it going, then what's going to happen? And we got it going, which was phenomenal. And now we have to keep it going. We have to keep it going. And it's not going to be easy against this Georgia Tech team. So let's talk a little bit about Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is led by King Haynes. Sorry. And he's played every game this season so far. So, I mean, solid. He's absolutely solid. 138 of 191 for a 71% completion percentage, 1,500 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns. Not bad. Not bad. Especially for Georgia Tech. Not bad at all. He's complemented by Jamal Haynes. Or I'm sorry, his name is Haynes King, not King Haynes. Sorry, Haynes King. I apologize. He's complemented by Jamal Haynes, who is the leading rusher for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, but they spread it out. They really have a 3-headed monster when it comes to running, or rushing, I should say. Jamal Haynes, Haynes King, who is the quarterback, so a dual threat quarterback that Notre Dame has to be ready for, and Chad Alexander. Jamal Haynes has 572 yards on the ground, 7 touchdowns, for an average of 76 yards a game. Not bad. Followed up by Haynes King, the quarterback, with 384 and 6 touchdowns, with an average of 50 yards a game. So Notre Dame's defense will have its work cut out for them. Like I said, they will have their work cut out for them. But this Notre Dame defense is up to the task. We've seen it. Even with losing Benjamin Morrison for the season, I'm not super worried about the defense. It's what can the offense do? What can the offense do for Notre Dame? Can they continue to improve and continue to look sharp the way they did against a Stanford team? And we have to remember that this Georgia Tech team is not Stanford. And it's on the road. You can say it's a neutral field site, but like I said in the beginning of the video, it is not. It is not a neutral field site for Georgia Tech. It's a neutral field site, quote unquote, for Notre Dame, but it is not a neutral field site for Georgia Tech. It's down the road in Atlanta. So, let's call a spade a spade. So, can Riley Leonard have a good game? I say yes, but he has to be on it and he has to make smart decisions. This game will be won and lost in the turnover battle if it's close. If Notre Dame and Georgia Tech duke it out and exchange blows like two boxers, then it will come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes, as usual. And that includes penalties. So I say that Notre Dame has to be ready. We have to. We have to. Georgia Tech, Navy, Army, you name it. It is time to be prepared. Because these games will not be walks in the park. They will not. So I think Riley Leonard and company get it going. I think that this is classic Notre Dame scheduling where we see a game on the road and it should be or feels like it could be a trap game, but I feel like Notre Dame has what it takes and knows what they need to do. And that NIU game that we will continue to touch on every video was a wake-up call. So it's time for score predictions. It's my favorite time of the video. Score predictions. I say Notre Dame 35, Georgia Tech 28. It'll be a close one. This will be a close one, and it's going to be the Notre Dame offense that triumphs because the defense is going to do enough to keep them going. So there you have it. If you like this video, once again, please smash that like button down below. Give me your score predictions. We will definitely be, or we, I should say, I will be dropping the recap Sunday afternoon/evening. Hope everybody has a fantastic Saturday. Hope Notre Dame can pull out a victory for my birthday. I would have loved to be there, but it's a nice travel situation, and it is what it is. So, hope they can pull it out for my birthday. It's a selfish wish, but it is what it is. So, with that being said, have a great day, God bless, and go Irish. Beat Georgia Tech.